Hi, it's Julia from Crosspatch. We're talking Big Boy Christmas gifts today. So by Big Boys, I mean the big Hexie Flower templates. Excuse the state of mine because I've been drawing around them with black marker pens. So let's hold them on there, then you can see them. So there's a Big Boy Flower and there's the Big Boy Hexie. And we've been making little gift bowls. So here we go, is one little bowl. Got some nice angel fabric, and then I've put sparkly yarn dye inside, and then a pair of cute little angel scissors because I thought they make nice gifts. So there's a gift pack coming up on Create and Craft that'll have these fabrics in, and one pair of the scissors. And the other idea is to make like little bowl fillers. So here's the autumn fabric I got from Nutex. So it's got hares and squirrels and all sorts on. It's really cute fabric. There's another one. So in these, I've filled these with toy stuffing, and I've also put lavender in so they smell really lush. Here's the magic mushrooms and Christmassy one. And then the other Christmassy one I did that I just showed you, I did it the other way around, so I put the sparkly inside and the actual fabric on the outside. What you need to make these, if you've got your Big Boy Hexies, 1/4 metre of fabric, you'll cut out 4 flower shapes and 1 hexagon shape. If I just show you when you're cutting them out, so I've got a long 1/4 of fabric here, so I've cut one out, so keep it folded in half and start at the selvage end, cut 1 flower out, then cut another flower out above it, and then you'll be left with the bit on the fold. So the bit on the fold is going to give you about that much fabric left. So I don't know if you get 2, no, you'll probably get 2 hexies for the bowls, because what you do when you're making the bowls, you need to cut the hexie down by about 1/2 inch all round, so you might just about get 2 whole bowls out of a standard long 1/4 of fabric. So when you've cut them out, so I've started this bowl, I've started in the sparkly yarn dye, so I've cut 2 pieces of yarn dye. So I've drawn round the hexie flower onto my yarn dye, and I've sewn a 1/4 inch seam all the way around. So I've got 2 together, and on the back of one of them I've ironed some thin iron-on wadding, the H630. In the top one, cut a slit so you can turn it inside out. When you've turned it inside out, give it a good press. There's the slit where I turned it inside out. Don't worry about that, because this is where you're going to cover with your hexagon. Now, unlike doing your normal hexie flowers, you need to trim this down because you're making a bowl and you need to have enough fabric to make the sides. So what I did was I traced around it, I put some wadding on the back, and then I folded over a seam on the back. You need to reduce it by a good 1/2 inch. So it will then fit over the gap there, and you've got enough room to make the sides of your bowl. When you've put it on there, you can actually, what else you can do is top stitch around the edge of your bowl. So it will be top stitch like that. And then you'll top stitch around the hexagon to make your base. So once that's top stitched on, you've got your here's your base, and I've stitched around the edges. All you do to make the bowl is to gather up around the edges. So find where the hexagon, you can see where the edge of the hexagon is by my stitching, and then just stitch out. It's about just under 1 inch roughly, and then you'll just fold your 2 flaps together, and then just keep going around and stitching up all the way around until you get your bowl shape. So here's your one's finish. If I do a close-up of these, you can see how I've sewn around the edges of it, and there's the inside. Might see a bit better on one of the lighter ones. This one I did with some Lynette Anderson fabric. So you can see around the edges there. I will stitch them together. And then to finish off, I've just put rickrack. I've cut about 30 centimetres of rickrack, tie a knot each end, and then just stitch over where your seam goes on the top there to hold it in place to make your little handle. So they're really cute. If you want to make the bowl fillers, this is one, I stitched these last night as a sample. So I've used just one piece of yarn dye, so it's a raw edge. So one piece of yarn dye, a full size hexie flower. So you can see that's the full size 3.5 inch hexie on the top there. Wadding on the back of my squirrel, put it in the middle of the yarn dye flower, and I've just stitched them over, and I've used a blanket stitch. So make 2 of these. So I've got a hare one side, my squirrel the other side, and I've used my the Valdani, what I call Christmas thread. I think they call it Summer Garden. It's like the reds and greens. It goes well with these colours. So all you need to do the bowl filler, to stitch it together, is just do a slip stitch all the way around, which is why it's nice to use a decorative thread, because you actually want it to show. So just gather it, go around the edges doing a slip stitch. And you see on these ones I've done it in a more of an autumny Valdani thread. You can just about see where I've stitched it around the edges, around there. This one I did with a Christmassy thread. Here's another one. So this is an actual Christmassy one done with a Valdani Christmassy thread. Slip stitched it around the edge. So do all the sides except for the top, and then just fill with stuffing and lavender if you want, and then finish slip stitching it shut. So that's how you make those. A sneak peek of something I've done for Create and Craft using the Big Boys. Get these out here. So I'll be making these out of homespun. So it's a Moda homespun, really nice soft fabric. And again, I've done it with raw edges. So I've used one piece of the homespun on the outside and one in the middle. And the idea was that I sewed it into a quilt, and then when you wash the quilt, it'll go, you know, like those raggedy quilts, it'll go all nice and raggedy and lush. And I'll just get rid of all these angel scissors and I'll show you what I can of the quilt. So this is the quilt I made for myself. I think I had about 16 long quarters of fabric, and it makes such, the weather's finally turned a bit chilly, so that's the back of it. So it looks as good on the back as it does on the front. So all these lovely lush fabrics, and that's that. And the other thing I've made, if you've got the smaller hexie flowers, you can make some nice little Christmas decorations with them. This was the runner I did last year using that nice yarn dye fabric. So that's another idea. Get some nice blingy Christmassy fabrics, get your Christmas table runners done, or make yourself some nice little mini Christmas decorations using, if you've got the standard hexie flowers, that's just one, again, raw edge round a Macawa pretty Christmas glitzy fabric. Put a little button and some rickrack to hang it up. I've used the nice Valdani thread, go around the edge with a running stitch, really quick and easy to make in the evenings. Thank you for watching. I'll see you on Create and Craft next week. Have a good week. Bye.